everybody, and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. Today we're going to continue our discussion about stress. The first week I talked about symptoms and how they're very subjective, and there are so many. It's such a broad list. It's actually a huge list that you can have, that it's important to recognise what your symptoms are when it comes to stress. And then the second week I talked about triggers, where we're being triggered, whether internal or external micro stressors, to look at what was specific again to you and what your triggers are. And when we know those two facts, we can then start to take back control, and we can start looking at, okay, what can I do to help me with this new knowledge in place. So let's get on with this week's blog, which is really only talking about one tip, but the whole idea about talking about only one tip is to get you started somewhere small. Make one small change at a time to gain back the control, because when we're stressed, we can feel like we've no control over our lives. Life seems to be, sliding out of control. So the stress might be happening just one area of your life, but the whole of your life is affected, and it can all feel like it's out of control. So let's start taking back some control. And when we do that, even in small ways, then that can give us a boost to tackle more things that is causing us stress. So just remember, though, as I always say to people, if you try to do too much too soon, you're only adding to your stress, and you're going to feel overwhelmed, and you're going to set yourself up for failure. So small changes instead. And in this week's blog, I'm going to talk about dietary or healthier ways of eating, as a means to reduce your stress symptoms. So what is your diet like? What is your drinking habits like, with regard to now, what's going on now for you? If we can have a look at them and make little tweaks, again, baby steps, making one small tweak at a time, then we can have a look at, how can I help myself this way, and how maybe perhaps if I'm drinking too much, if I'm taking too much caffeine, if I'm eating too much sugary foods, how they can make us feel when we're already stressed. So have a think about, maybe regaining some control in just this small area of your life, in your dietary and drinking habits. I'm not talking about somebody who has an eating disorder here. But if you do feel, and I'm aware that this week is all about eating awareness, eating disorder awareness, and trying to raise awareness around the different forms of eating disorders. I've talked about those before. There's a variety of different ones. I've talked about those, I've done videos on them, so do please check them out. But if you feel that this is you, perhaps, or you're concerned for a loved one, then please reach out for professional support. That's vital with regards to eating disorders. So balanced diets. I don't like using the word diet. Balanced lifestyle with regards to our eating and drinking is maybe better, because if we're eating a lot of processed foods, refined carbohydrates, the sugary snacks, caffeine, that actually impacts our stress, our anxiety, our mental health. They can leave us feeling more on edge when we drink these and eat these things. So it's better if we can look at our eating patterns, look at our drinking patterns, and say, okay, what can I do? Where can I tweak in order to make some small changes? When we're eating more healthier, when we're not maybe drinking alcohol as much, when we've reduced the caffeine, we actually feel a bit better, and then we feel a little bit better able to cope with what's going on. If you are concerned about your diet, about your drinking habits, or if you have any sort of medical condition, please speak to your GP or main doctor, or your nutritionist or dietitian if you're already working with them. But you can ask yourself the following questions if you want. So what does your eating patterns currently look like? Are you skipping meals? That's common to do that, to actually skip meals, particularly if you're stressed and you feel overwhelmed and busy. That is one way. Are you taking more sugary snacks in? Are you, are you resorting, in fact, to using sugary snacks or chocolate or caffeine, coffee in particular, or something like high caffeine soft drinks in order to get you through the day? Um, and then you've got to say to yourself, well, if when I've looked at those two things, do I actually need to speak to my doctor about that? Do I need to speak to, a nutritionist or a dietitian, and be referred on to somebody professionally to help me with those? And can you see, in fact, the connection between your stress and how you eat, and what you're drinking? So if you can look at those first, so ask yourself some of those questions first. Second thing here would be, don't change, as I said, don't change too many things at once. So yes, we're looking at healthier ways to eat, and yes, we're looking at reducing alcohol consumption, etc. But even within that area, don't try to change too much too soon. Okay? Slow and steady is much better. As I said, you'll only start to overwhelm yourself and feel more stressed. So, for example, an apple or a banana instead of a bar of chocolate, or for every cup of coffee or tea you drink, you will then drink a glass of water. Okay? Maybe the small change you need to make is making sure you're having breakfast in the morning. Some people skip breakfast in the morning. Or maybe, you could skip lunch. So you'll have breakfast, have dinner, but you'll skip lunch. So maybe that's the area you want to focus on. We do need to eat during the day. We do need to eat our lunch. We do need to take a break from work, even within the home. We do need to take that time to just relax, calm down a little bit and talk things through with friends. Reach out for a support system. So if work is an issue, if you've found that, work is a major trigger source in terms of stress for you, I would be looking at introducing or back introducing a lunch break, taking that time out for to do other things, eat something, and then add in maybe a 10-minute walk, maybe a brain dump, talking and reaching out to friends. Doesn't necessarily mean in work, could be somebody at home or a friend. So when we do take that break, when we do eat something, it really does reduce to help our stress levels, but it also has the benefit of producing, of helping your productivity levels. They go up, they do increase. So it is important that you take that time, to have a break at lunchtime. The next thing I'd say to you is to look at caffeine. So what's going on with the caffeine, the sugar, and the alcohol? Again, that's too many things to be looking at once. So first thing would be the caffeine. Second thing maybe is the sugar. And the third thing would be alcohol consumption. The caffeine and the sugar are both going to stimulate your stress response in a negative way. So trying to switch maybe to decaf, or maybe you'll have no caffeine after lunch. Maybe you're going to, as I said, swap in water. For every cup of tea or coffee you drink, you're going to have some water. The other thing would be, if you were looking at your alcohol consumption, then, has the extra glass of wine or bottle of beer snuck in after work? Yes, alcohol will help you feel more relaxed. And then we think it's helping us, helping relieve some of our stress. But it does set us up for a negative cycle, because in the end it makes our stress feel worse, in fact, because it's impacting our sleep cycle as well. It impacts our mood, making us feel worse. And then we tend to draw on our negative thinking even more. So it really sets up a negative cycle there for us. So thinking about looking at ways to cut back on your alcohol consumption there would be important. There are just some ways you can change this area, this one particular area. But as I said, um, it doesn't matter where you start. I'm suggesting a healthier eating pattern, um, and changing that in small ways. You're tweaking it in small ways, one small tweak at a time. That's just one way you could do it. You could equally prioritize your sleep to tweak ways of changing your sleep, and particularly as sleep is often impacted in a major way by stress for most people. So if you can look at my video on on sleep and how you can help yourself with regards to making sleep a priority, and I've given you 11 tips I think in that video on helping you to you know, improve your sleep quality there. So if you wanted to do that, each of those 11 tips will be one small tweak you can make. Some of them are one done and dusted thing, and some of them take a little bit more practice. Another area you could look at is meditation. Meditation is going to help you big time with your stress, not just in helping you feel more calmer, but also it helps look at how we're thinking and help us to identify, you know, the people that are in our lives maybe that are impacting us in a negative way. So there are a lot more other things. So have a look at, you know, I've talked about meditation before, and I have free podcasts on those that you can try in meditation. And there's different forms you can try up on the podcast. So go have a look at those as well. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. What matters is that you are actually starting to claw back in small ways that feeling of control that you have and empowerment. And in that sense alone, you're going to start helping to reduce your stress down for you. My book, The Building Blocks of Self-Care, I have 3 others up there if you want to have a look at those as well, up on my website. They're also all available on Amazon. Have a look at that if you want a step-by-step guide to rebalancing your life. And there are loads of worksheets in there. There are links out to podcasts, free podcasts for meditations, etc. Or just explore my website that I have all the blogs, all the videos and podcasts that are up there. There are hundreds of them up there at this stage. Have a look at them. See what you think. See what helps. If that doesn't work, try something different. The whole idea is you keep trying, and that's going to help you reduce your stress, but also build your resilience. So do check it out. So I will leave it there for this week, and as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching live here on Facebook. Thank you for those that watch and replay here and on YouTube. If you have any questions, I am always happy to answer questions from people. You can send me a message, or you can just post it under the different videos. Even the old videos, I have no problem answering questions on all the old videos. So I'll talk to you all again next week. New blog, new topic out on Monday if you can't wait for next Friday. And I will see you all then. Thank you for watching.